Hello, Top Fan Rivalry followers. Again, it's Bill, and we are back with another one-on-one. We brought Joe back in to do a one-on-one, talk a little Phillies baseball, talk about favorite players, and so we're just going to dive right into it. Joe, welcome back after our panel. Now it's just you and I.
Thank you so much.
All right, so being a Philly fan, favorite player, either all-time or current or both, whatever it is.
All time, being a child of the 80s, it's kind of hard to grow up in Philadelphia and not be a fan of Michael Jack Schmidt.
There you go.
Best to ever do it at third base. Both sides of the field. He could hit home runs. 3-time MVP, Gold Gloves, All-Stars. He was just the man.
Yeah.
Right now, I actually like JT Realmuto. I like the way he carries himself. He's a great leader for the team. Obviously, Harper's the star, but I like JT a lot.
You know, Mike Schmidt's a great call, and I like that. I would have said that too. If I had a backup to that question, I would have said the Flying Hawaiian. I would have said Shane Victorino.
Yeah, absolutely.
I gained a tremendous amount of respect in a game against the Dodgers, where there was a little bit of a brouhaha, and then Shane was the next guy up, and I can't remember who it was, but they threw at his head, and Shane ducked, and he looked at him and goes, "Hit me in the side, don't hit me in the head, hit me in the..." He knew it was coming, and it was okay. It was kind of the game inside the game, and he was okay with it. And I'm like, respect. But he understands the game inside the game. So yeah, Michael Jack Schmidt, Flying Hawaiian, JT Realmuto, another all-star, right? JT Realmuto. So that's good. So where did it all start? Where did your love for the Phillies start?
Growing up in South Philly, sports is like another religion.
Yes.
So you grow up Catholic, and then you become like a Flyers fan or a Phillies fan or whatever. And, the Phillies were my first love. My first sports memory is the Phillies winning the 1980 World Series. Mm-hmm. I remember watching the game on TV. I remember going to the parade. I was lucky enough to actually go to a World Series game when we lost to Baltimore in '83, so that was really cool. My two favorite memories of games that I was actually at, you're not going to like one of them. Mm-hmm. One of them was 2008 at Dodger Stadium. Mm-hmm. We walked in the game 5, I believe it was, and Jimmy hit a home run, and I was like, Hamels is on the mound, so this one's pretty much locked up. And then when it was all over, I was sitting there just kind of flabbergasted, like, we just won the pennant. That only like the 4th or 5th time the Phillies had done that in almost over 100 years. So that was sort of like, I'm watching team history right here. Mm-hmm. And then my other favorite memory happened at the Vet in 1988. And this is, most people wouldn't remember something like this, but this is like the most Philly thing ever. So the Phillies were playing the Astros that day. It was a Sunday afternoon. It was flip-up sunglasses day. Mm-hmm. So it was going to be a win either way. You show up, you're 12 years old, you're getting flip-up sunglasses. It doesn't matter what happens in the game, No. But we ended up destroying Houston. Bob Nepper was on the mound. It was Ricky Jordan's first game. Ricky Jordan hit a home run in his first major league at bat, so we thought we had like the next guy right there. But what stands out about this game to me is my favorite player of all time, Mike Schmidt. Went like 3 for 5 or whatever it was. He hit a home run. He hit a moonshot to center field that went over the center fielder's head, and he got credit for a triple. So all he needed in the 8th inning for the cycle was a single. And he struck out swinging, and the crowd booed like we lost the game. And we're up like 10-2. But it was just so selfish of the crowd. They just want to see that cycle so bad that they booed him like you wouldn't believe. And I was sitting there as a 12-year-old kid going like, okay, this is crazy. So that's one of my favorite Philly stories of all time.
The guy went 3 for 5. He had a triple, he had a double, he had a home run, and you're booing him for this.
Yeah. Booing him like he just lost the game for us, and we're up by 8 runs. It's hilarious.
So side note, I was just reading about the Vet not too long ago. It was about a month or so ago. I was just up late, and I was reading stuff about different ballparks. I'd never been to the Vet, but tell me about the Vet. Just a side question. Tell me about the Vet, because you've been there.
I went to the Vet was like my second home when I was like 12 years old. I actually played at the Vet. We played a Little League City Championship game there. We won the title in '88. So I got to play on the AstroTurf there. But, I first started going to the Vet in the mid-'80s. By that point, it was already like 15 years old. It was already, breaking down in an old, dirty place. It was not a good-looking stadium. There was no atmosphere whatsoever. The only reason you really went there is because you wanted to actually see the game. The food wasn't good. There were no positive qualities about the actual stadium. The only great thing was $1 to get in. You get to sit in the 700 level for $1 every game. So 87, 88, 89, I lost count of how many games that I went to because we lived right down the street from the stadium. So I went to as many games as possible, basically.
Mom, I'm walking down to the Vet. I'm going to
pay
my buck.
We walked to a couple of the Eagles games and actually snuck in because we went to so many Phillies games that we knew all the little areas where there was like a gate that you kind of like just push open a little bit. When you're 12 years old, you can
course
kind of
you
fit
did.
in, you know what I mean? So,
Of course you
so
did.
we saw a few of those for free, a few Eagles games. Didn't do it at the Phillies games because they were $1. You didn't have to sneak in at the Phillies games.
The Eagles games were $1.50, and that's where you drew your line.
Oh, no,
right there.
Eagles games were a tough ticket in the late 80s with Randall and Reggie and all those guys.
Yeah,
so.
tough ticket, exactly. So the vet was your babysitter, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. My mom legitimately would drop us off. We had a big van. She would round up me and like 5, 6 of my friends, drop us off at the stadium, have the game on in the background, and when she saw it was like the 7th, 8th inning, she'd just drive back to the stadium and pick us up. So
Perfect.
yeah, it was like going to the movies or something, you know.
Perfect. All right, so if you could pick one Phillies memory that just stands out all the time, give me a Phillies memory.
For me personally, it would be that game in '08 when we clinched the pennant. Because I mean, I was there, I was a part of it. It just felt, amazing.
Of course it was.
Well,
I'm just
and then a few weeks later when we beat Tampa, and that was the other thing. As we're leaving, we find out that Tampa beat Boston,
Yeah.
and it's like, wow, we're gonna win the World Series here, like because you're afraid of the Boston Red Sox, you're not afraid of the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the year prior, didn't you guys go up against the Yankees, or was it the year after?
Year after.
Year after you went up against the Yankees. That's right. And
We won Game 1. Chase Utley had a great game. Hit I think 1 or 2 home runs in Game 1. And then I was actually there for that. I was back home in Philly for Game 1. I was back home in Philly when we beat the Dodgers again in 2009 in the LCS. So I got to party with everybody on Broad Street that night. And then I was home for Game 1. I flew home Game 2, and Pedro was on the mound, and he was doing great. And then they cut the broadcast off from the the plane, and then when I landed, it's like we lost. Like, oh.
Yeah.
And you kind of knew that was it because you kind of had to take both games there because the Yankees are a powerhouse team.
Yeah.
Matsui, A-Rod, all those guys.
All those guys. Yeah. Jeter still. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to ask you the same question I asked you on the panel. So if they haven't watched the panel yet, and I asked the same question to Ned, right now, your biggest rival, is it the Mets or is it the Braves?
I think historically it would have to be the Mets.
Okay.
Mainly because, like we talked about earlier, the Braves were in the West for so long. They didn't come into the NL East until the 95 season, I believe it was?
Yeah.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, when we expanded.
So we grew up with the Braves being a rival of the Dodgers more than the Phillies. Over the years, they've become a rival, but I think that there's not that like hatred there. With the Mets, it's like you really hate the Mets. Like you really do. Like it's just, you see that logo and everything, it's like, ugh. Yeah, so I would definitely say the Mets are the biggest rival for me.
Okay. And would you say the same thing this year, or just historically?
Historically, for sure. I think, going head to head this year, it's going to be the Braves.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you do something unique in your life. What do you do for your career?
I create custom trading cards, original designs or reproductions of older cards for music, business, movie and TV, anything. It's called Pop Art Sports Cards. You can find me on social media, and if you want a custom card for your business card or someone in your family or your friends, just contact me and we'll get it done.
And he's also, just to let you know, he's also a vendor for Top Fan Rivalry. So you're going to see some stuff that's going to come in shortly into the team store. Joe, thank you so much for being on. As we get closer to the end of the season, we'll try to get you back on again, and we'll do another one of these things. And maybe it'll be you battling Ned again, because both of your teams are like neck and neck. Who knows?
That'd be cool.
Maybe the Mets will sneak up there and we'll have 3 people on the panel just battling it out. But, again, Mets fans, I'm so sorry. Yeah. Joe, thanks for your time. I appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
All right.